to the Big Success Show. Today we ask, what motivates you? Brought to you by FinancialFreedomTool.com. Plenty of money for life.
Tips to be your best with the professor and Mary-Lynn for your big success.
Who am I? Boy, that's a question people have asked since the beginning of time, I think. Who am I? You know, it's just that basic metaphysical kind of question. And so this show actually was inspired by a book with the title, Who Am I? The 16 Basic Desires That Motivate Our Actions and Define Our Personalities. It's written by the late, great Dr. Stephen Reese.
Dr. Reese found that happiness and life satisfaction come from a sense that our lives have meaning and fulfill a larger purpose. He calls this value-based happiness, and he has defined 16 universal desires that drive all meaningful behavior.
Now, big success, of course, is defined by us, I should say, defined as inner peace which flows from three sources: finding and fulfilling your calling, striving daily to reach your full potential, and staying true to your vision and values. Almost forgot that third one, Mary-Lynn.
Oh, you
staying
can't forget
true
that.
to your vision and values.
That is a spectacular definition of big success, if I might say so myself. And if you don't have a sense of inner peace, you're not going to feel like a big success. And you won't have inner peace if you don't find and fulfill your calling, if you don't strive to reach your full potential, if you don't stay true to your vision and values.
Now, in order to do these things, you need to understand the motivations underlying your actions.
Today, we're going to look at 16 motivations. Number 1 is power.
Now, I think a lot of people, when we hear the word power, we immediately flinch, right? I mean, I don't want to be a powerful person, right? But what we're really talking about here is the desire to influence people, to be a leader. That is kind of playing to that power motivation.
Right. That doesn't mean try to have power over people.
Correct.
Number 2 is curiosity.
It's a real simple one, right? It's just the desire for knowledge, kind of the why, sort of like that childlike nature.
Number 3, independence.
The desire to be autonomous, to not be dependent on something or someone.
Number 4, status.
Yeah, that's pretty easy, right? The desire for social status, including desire for attention.
And sometimes the importance of social status actually causes unhappiness.
Yes, that's
You
true.
have to be careful there. Number 5, social contact.
Yeah, that's just the desire for peer companionship, the desire to play, the desire to have a place to belong, the desire to have people who we feel like we belong with.
The 6th basic motivation is vengeance. That doesn't sound so good.
Right, because we think of vengeance as the desire to break or to get even.
Right.
I almost said break even.
Getting back, yeah,
That's another show.
Yeah, this is about getting back at someone.
Exactly.
And that just, that grips at your heart. That prevents you from having a happy life.
Well, but the thing is, keep in mind, these are psychologists, and so they sort of define things maybe a little differently than we might. So vengeance also includes that desire to compete, that desire to win. Somehow I would call that more like validation. But they're lumping that.
Or competitiveness.
Yes, they're lumping that in under vengeance.
Okay. Number 7, honor.
Yeah, the desire to obey a traditional moral code, to stick with your values. Hey, that sounds familiar. Staying true to your values.
Yes, it does. Number 8 is idealism.
Yeah, that desire to improve society. So justice, altruism, giving, sharing, that kind of stuff.
Number 9, physical exercise. Wait a minute, I don't have that desire. No.
You don't have that desire?
Unfortunately, I'm working on that.
The desire isn't the problem. It's the next step.
yeah, that's it.
But the thing is, it's this desire to exercise our muscles. I think exercise our minds to some extent, but just be healthy.
Number 10, romance.
Yeah, I mean, courting is the desire for a significant other.
We're talking about basic motivations here. Number 11 is family.
Yeah, the desire to, be involved with somebody and raise one's own children.
Number 12 is order.
This is the one that's toughest, right? Order. The desire to organize, to be organized, to kind of have rituals.
Number 13, eating. We're motivated to eat.
I mean, you have to be motivated to eat at some point, don't you? That's what I thought was kind of comical looking at this list, but it's just that desire to eat is how they define it.
I'm extra motivated to eat when there's pizza on the menu, but anyway. All right, number 14, acceptance.
A lot of people face this. I mean, we all, to some degree, want to be like other people's approval, right?
Right. Number 15, tranquility.
Yeah, just the desire to avoid anxiety, fear. I think this kind of plays to that inner peace that we talk about with big success.
And the 16th basic motivation, according to Dr. Reese,
Drum roll, please.
is saving.
Yeah, just the desire to live frugally, that, we value that we value the ability to collect things. That's savings.
Now you know the 16 motivations, basic motivations for everything that we do. We're going to look at the 3 steps to take to act on those motivations right after this word from our sponsor, financialfreedomtool.com. Plenty of money for life.
Do you feel doubt when making money decisions? Let the Financial Freedom Tool be your decision-making guide 24/7, 365 days a year, so you can make your next money moves with confidence. Learn more at financialfreedomtool.com.
We're talking today about motivation, more specifically the 16 basic motivations. Now we're ready to talk about what to do with them. It involves 3 steps. Professor, what's step number 1?
Rank the basic desires. So these 16 desires, rank them from most important, make that a 1, all the way down to the least important, that's a 16.
Step number 2 is to look at your rankings for consistency with your life.
Yeah, so if you catch what we've done, we've just ranked them, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're going to look at and think about our life and how we're living with our top priorities, and we're going to see how congruent are we? How in sync are we? How harmonious are we? So which desires rank high on your list? Does your life reflect that? You're comparing kind of the desired desires versus the real world results.
Okay. Can we break this down into some examples?
Certainly, Mary-Lynn. Of course we can.
I like the examples. Helps me get going.
So let's just say that social contact is important to you. So ask yourself this question. Do I work in an environment that allows for companionship?
Okay.
If so,
if
so, we'll take that up with the next step.
All right.
Another example would be if independence is important. Are you in a work environment that encourages individuality? Or is it all about the team? Both those things are good, but with a person who values independence, it's going to be more important than a person who values acceptance. Mm-hmm. A third example is, let's go back to the power one.
Okay.
Let's say you
like that one. The professor likes that powerful role.
It's the first one, and I also think it's one of the 2 that could kind of come across as negative. Like the eating one is just kind of just to me kind of weird.
Right.
But I mean, I know it's something we have to do, and I suppose if you're starving, eating is going to be a major motivator, right? We just don't happen to be in that place. But I think that power and vengeance are 2 that we kind of look at in a negative way. So let's take power. Let's say you have a high desire for power.
Right.
Well, in our earlier example, we asked the question, are you on track for management?
Right.
Well, let's just say the answer is yes. Great. Then you should be motivated to keep pushing. But let's say it's no. Well, then ask yourself the question, how do I get on track for management? Understanding what motivates you and then acting on that information is going to give you a greater sense of meaning and fulfillment. I don't care how you define it, that's big success.
That is some pretty powerful stuff there. And if you found this show helpful, would you share it with your friends? We'd really appreciate you helping us get the word out about what we have to offer here at Big Success.
And thanks to you listening today, we feel more motivated
to keep on podcasting. Join us back here next week. Speaking of podcasting, we're going to be celebrating 12 years, the 12th anniversary of our very first podcast here on Big Success. And until then,
here's to your big success.
Tips to be your best with the Professor and Mary-Lynn for your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.